Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of January 7th, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. How's your year getting started off? It's been exciting so far for me here in the cosmic community and in my greater cosmic community life. Everything is really taking off in the new year. I really feel the big changes and shifts that I discussed last week on the show kind of starting to poke their heads out. You're getting little bugs in your ear about changes coming up, or maybe some new dreams, some new desires, possibly just new ideas coming through, and new filters that are going to be taking effect this week in terms of the astrology. This week is pretty loaded, so let's go ahead and get into it. I know personally, I have been really living in the astrology. It has just been so vivid and clear and communicative. And there have been some big moments for me, even over the past few days, that have been pretty explosive, that have led to some big understandings and commitments and new intentions. And it is just a full moon week this week. And it's just also something important to point out is kind of where we are coming from. And we are coming from last week where we had the planet of Mars has been in retrograde since the beginning of December. Mars turned retrograde in the sign of Leo on December 6th, and our physical body has slowed down, and we are physically returning to the past to take care of things that are beginning with the letters R-E. We are taking care of reviewing, recycling, re-examining, re-emitting. It is anything that begins with those two letters is a retrograde activity, and Mars likes activity. So even in retrograde, we stay active. Retrogrades are very much an internal sort of thing. So we have a lot of internal movement, a lot of internal fire when Mars does this retrograde. And the important part about this week, or the last week, the last few days, that's changed in terms of the Mars retrograde is that we've got the movement back into Cancer, and this is a 2-sign retrograde, so we get kind of a double up on themes, and so we move back to Cancerian themes. And Cancer is a water sign, very emotional. It's a tough place for Mars, a fiery outward planet, to be, because Cancer is an inward, more feminine, emotional. It's represented by the crab, and it's like more of a pull everything inside type of energy, where Mars, of course, is that outward, wants to express and push out. Cancer pulls in. So it's a tough place for Mars to be, and it's a tough place to be doing this work. Mars is like faced with a lot of stuff right now, and all of the masculine areas of our life. And actually, in terms of your personal life and your personal birth chart, you would want to look at where this retrograde is taking place. So 6 degrees of Leo to 17 degrees of Cancer. And we have this retrograde going on until February 23rd. So it's not a new thing. We've been in it for a while, and we're going to be still in it for a while. So we need to be patient and slow things down. Mars is very argumentative and wants to create instability and sort of rock the boat a little bit, and has a really fine time doing that, as Mars is a shoot first, ask questions later type of energy where it's not going to stop and think about a lot. There's going to be some explosive moments. There's going to be some explosive emotions. There's going to be a lot of themes having to deal now with Cancer, having to do with the home and the family and your home life and the people at home and the issues and the themes that have been going on since even well before December 6th, because by the time a planet goes retrograde, they've actually already traveled the first time over that part of the zodiac. So your retrograde is where you go back and make the edits. The third time through is where you smooth things out. So it's a 1, 2, 3. And so we're in the 2 phase of the retrograde. We're going back and we're fixing things. And so things that have been happening though since well before December, since Mars was traveling through the shadow. So big themes coming up. It's a tough place for the physical body. We could need a lot more self-nurturing. We could use a lot more of the things that a mother would do. Hugs, warm meals, nice thoughts, saying beautiful things, embracing the types of things that make you feel embraced is what we do need to be doing when we are moving Mars through Cancer. So it's kind of a indirect energy. There is a passive aggressiveness to Mars in Cancer, and there's a passive type of anger even that is there. There's this extreme irritability, but it's because Mars is passionate, okay? So don't mistake the explosiveness of Mars wanting to take action for not being careful, because that's not a Mars quality. Being careful is not a Mars quality. Taking care of business is a Mars quality, and protecting at all costs is a Mars quality. And so do not mistake this for what it truly is, which is passion. And so we're going to be feeling very passionate about things in our home, and we'll be talking more about this. But this is kind of where we're coming from as we enter the week, and we've got a couple of pretty big things going on as in terms of the Cancer full moon on January 13th, and also the nodes of destiny moving into new signs on the 11th of January. And these are all Pacific West Coast times where I'm doing the show from. So can do a little bit of math to see when exactly these things are happening. But this is kind of just a roundabout for the area I'm at. So early in the week, today actually has a toughness to it. We have the planet of Pluto in a square, the moon actually making a square to the planet of Pluto. And Pluto is still gaining the feat that it needs to be in Aquarius. Pluto is a slow-moving planet and deals with transformation, change, rebirth, and so many other things. And when the moon comes into a square, we can feel like there is a toughness here. And it could just be even a little more because the moon is in an earth sign. It's in Taurus, and Pluto is in that air sign of Aquarius, and earth and air are just not really mixing that well. There's been a whole big theme around Pluto letting go of control. And Pluto is very much a control planet. It's where you're going to see people taking grasps at control here. And the moon is our mood. It's our emotion. So grasping for transformation of the mood and the feeling of the day. But these energies are just not mixing. There's a toughness to Tuesday. No matter what happens, it's highly transformative. But resist the urge urge to dig in too heavily, because the moon, after all, keeps moving pretty quickly, and we'll be in a new energy there fairly soon. On January 8th, we come into, it's the 8th and the 9th. The sun, we get 2 squares early in the week. So there's a toughness to this week early on. The sun, our identity, our ego, comes into a square with the healing planet of Chiron. Chiron shows us our immortal wounds. This is a really uncomfortable place to have the sun, the most brilliant light in our solar system, shining on it. A lot of times people want to keep their wounds to themselves. And they want to keep them at least to their intimate life. And that's not everybody. There are a lot of people who wear their wounds and their emotions and their lives out on their sleeve also. And there is no right or wrong way of doing anything. In the terms of the astrology, though, you just work with it as it comes through. And right now, the sun is like shining brilliantly on our wounds this week. And we've been doing a lot of work with Chiron. Chiron is in a long-term sextile with Jupiter. So there are pretty amazing gifts coming through from the planet of all planets, Jupiter, the king of kings and the lord of lords of our solar system, is releasing good luck and, enthusiasm and wisdom onto Chiron in this sextile where they're both sharing in that vibe. And so the sun is our ego. We're just going to be faced with something here. We're gonna know that something's going on in terms of triggering our immortal wounds. It can feel a little cold too, because the 2 teachers here are the sun, who is, let me go back to my chart because I want to have that in front of me. I always look at astroseek.com when I'm doing these readings here. So if you want to actually look at the astrological chart and see the picture of what I'm talking about here, what's a trine, what's a sextile, an opposition, you can really start to put it all together when you see the astrology chart. So anyways, I'm here on January 9th on astroseek.com looking at this sun square Chiron, and the sun is in the masculine sign of Capricorn, and this is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, feeling like taking responsibility for closure and letting things go, and Saturn is responding to Neptune. Neptune is the leader of Pisces, so everything kind of filters back into Saturn and Pisces here, which is a very emotional sign. It's a very spiritual sign, and it's where we have to go. We have to use our intuition when we don't really know where else to go, because that's where the answers truly are. And that's what Pisces represents and what Pisces energy can teach us. So lean into that. The sun is a cold, bright light this week, and is shining on Chiron in the sign of Aries, which is another really masculine, forward-moving energy ruled by the planet of Mars. And Mars is in Cancer, totally debilitated and being ruled by the moon, which is at this moment just about to leave Taurus and enter Gemini, which is another masculine type of energy. So it just can feel kind of cold because all the teachers here are not super soft and they're not in their best. But hang in there, because there is some goodness coming. We have the nodes of destiny shifting and moving into new signs, actually moving into 2 feminine signs, and they're going to sort of release some of that toughness. And it's going to get even more emotional as the North Node moves out of Aries and into Pisces, and the South Node goes into Virgo out of Libra. This is known as the healing the healing signs. This is the axis where we have Pisces straight across from Virgo, Virgo straight across from Pisces. So these energies mirror each other, and they always are working with each other. And there's a lot of different things about about Pisces that make it such a beautiful sign of closure, and Virgo also, because they are both the 12th and the 6th sign of the zodiac. And these are kind of like the graduation signs. So this next 18 months, we will be working with the nodes of destiny, the nodes of fate. We will be going through cosmic course corrections and seeing 2 eclipses this year in the signs of Pisces and Virgo. So start getting in tune here with that intuition. Start diving into the ocean that exists in the collective unconscious. That is always something that you can call in your meditations, in your prayers, knowledge from those that have gone before, those that will come, and those that are here right now. There is a collective unconscious of information that we have access to at any moment when we move into that headspace and we move into that. So over the next 18 months, we're going to be doing this, and it's all about healing. It's all about spirituality, and it is definitely about a wholeness, because the 12th and the 6th signs are where we sort of end the journey. And then we are going to be then moving into the next sign, the 7th and the 1st sign, which the 1st sign is Aries. It's always the new beginnings. And the sign of Libra, the 7th sign, is when you leave. The first 6 signs are known as the kind of the personal signs, and that's all dealing with things in ourself. And as we move into the 7th through the 12th sign, it's all kind of like you and your environment around you and how you are living in the world. So we graduate here, but we also are going to be just working a lot on how we serve ourselves. Pisces is a very empathic, compassionate sort of energy. Pisces wants to give and give and give and give and give and give. Pisces ultimately just wants everybody to have what they need, traditionally ruled by the planet of Jupiter. See, there was a time before telescopes when we couldn't see Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, and everything else past that. And that was the time that astrology was actually more heavily used. And then now we moved into this modern time. We've brought more modern planets into the astrology. But traditionally, Pisces was ruled by the planet of Jupiter, the gifter, the planet of good luck. And that's something really beautiful to keep leaning into in terms of the cosmic course corrections that are going to be taking place. We have to be compassionate, not just with others, but with ourselves. And Pisces does have a tendency to give and give and give so much that it almost becomes resentful for having gave so much, but they were actually the ones who made that decision to give so much in the first place. So we'll be coming to terms with things like that over the next 18 months. And then in Virgo, a servant. Also, this is where we give of ourselves to the point where we can almost become sick and ill because we can't keep ourselves from giving so much. We have this idea that we can plan everything into place, and we can, put everything into place and bring everything into wholeness with Virgo. See, Virgo just wants to cleanse and detox and release and just become a clear vessel again. And so when we give too much of ourselves in Virgo, we can make ourselves ill, and then we kind of become moot. We give up our power. So there is a lot here with learning how to use what we have available to us and learning boundaries, learning the limits around these things within ourselves and within the situations around us and within our life in total. And this is really powerful. This is really strong as we move into the Cancer full moon on January 13th. We are just feeling this Capricorn, Saturnian, Pisces, Neptune. Venus is there in Pisces. We are going to be having quite the spectacular display in Pisces here over the next few months. And so start moving into that. Start releasing and surrendering and finding your way to the water, to, this can also be tears. This can be baths. This can be just like cleaning your house and cleansing things. Because this the Cancer full moon reflecting the Capricorn sun is very emotional. We just talked about Cancer, and we know where that's going to take us with Mars there. And the moon is actually basically conjunct Mars at this full moon. So we could be feeling very unstable. There is also the sun in a trine to Uranus on this full moon. It's a wild card with the explosiveness of this Mars retrograde in Cancer, with the moon being right on this Mars that may or may not know how to express itself in the way that's most useful for everyone. The sun in a trine with Uranus, and Uranus is just going to bring surprise. And it's going to be change too. There's going to be some type of aspect that creates some change over this full moon, and it's all in line with the nodes of fate also, because they are just now at that 29-degree point, and the full moon is at 25 degrees. So yeah, lots of loaded stuff going on, and I just have the utmost faith in you, and I really appreciate you being tuned in today and being interested in the astrology and what I, the Galactic Ambassador, Stacey Dredd, has to say about it. And you take care of yourself, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.